Got it. Oh, look, we're live. Yeah.
We are live, and Ron will be, he is en route.
En route?
We were actually briefly delayed for sound issues because apparently my audio engineer skills are declining.
Can you be honest for a second, though?
Am I a real audio engineer?
No, we were playing with the
Oh,
echo.
then we started playing with it. Yeah, I'll note to self, throw in some of the fun.
We'll release that.
It'll be included in the
We'll
audio
release that as a
version of the
sound bite.
episode. But
Maybe a short. Because have you this is not something we were planning on, but have you seen these YouTube shorts? I think they're trying to compete with TikTok.
yeah.
But they're awful.
Most of them are, yeah.
It's like, fuck you. Don't. I don't watch TikTok for a reason.
Yeah, same.
And
Every once in a while, though, I get sucked into a TikTok loop where I'm just watching, like, compilation TikToks on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't get on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
But if somebody sends me, like, watch this, and it's like a 15-minute TikTok video
Uh-huh.
of just different TikToks,
It's just
usually those are curated pretty well so that there's, like, most of
It
what's
really
in there
is a
is
best of.
enjoyable. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Okay.
But outside of that, I
can
have
respect
zero
that.
interest. Right.
And there really is some great stuff on there.
Yeah, but it's
And it
a matter
looks like-
of curation and getting to the good stuff.
If you swipe properly, you can end up getting a really good setup.
Yeah.
Because I know a guy that,
Well, Facebook has the Facebook
somehow-
Reels too that are similar,
yeah,
and
mine.
I get stuck in some of those every once in a while.
Yeah, mine shows
where I'm
almost
just like-
exclusively British chat shows. It's fantastic.
It's all Graham Norton.
Yeah, it's almost entirely Graham Norton in that awful 70s looking set. But those are fun. Those guys are all really cool. God, I love looking at myself.
Oh, I have to reverse this again.
Bloop.
Isn't that neat?
Now I can look at Word.
I like that you can just drag shit around
StreamYard is a pretty nice setup.
for what? Yeah, for what you pay for it. It's pretty awesome. Now we can just like look at each other.
My hair doesn't look that good anymore.
Oh, is in the picture here?
Yeah, that little picture down there, that was peak my hair.
So I've been doing a new
down.
haircut recently where I've gotten it like, so basically if my hair doesn't have product in it, it's pretty much this weird wavy dog shit. But if I like add a little bit of like, product to it, because I have like real fine hair that just kind of like blows around.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when I go to the barber that does, or the gal that does my hair at Sportsman, has it, and it does it in such a way that like I can do the part, and you've seen it at Lodge Night or whatever, but and that's about the best way I can get it, but I'm still on the fence about keeping it that way. Just because outside of that, it's hard to. I have Ron's
product is
trying to come
expensive.
in. I got that firming clay or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I've been working on the same jar of it for years now.
Really?
Because
It
I
doesn't
don't
take
have
much?
to. No, I don't have to use much, and I get it all kind of matted out, and I don't like add a whole bunch in my hair, just enough to kind of get it to hold
Well, see,
place.
mine
We're
doesn't-
talking about product, Ron.
Oh,
Hair products.
product.
Cremo.
Hair-
Use Cremo.
I use a firming clay.
That's kind of what this stuff is, but it's the absolute lowest shine and maximum hold.
Mine's dull. I can't remember. Mine's something.
It's primo. I love it.
I
I'll show. I don't know.
take a page out of There's Something About
Mine's got
Mary,
like the skeleton
and I just
logo. I don't know.
I just spin one out.
Yeah.
Is that hair gel?
And use your own. It saves money, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, and it's a de-stressor. No, I have some stuff that was in, I don't know, a cabinet at Mom's house, and she's like, I don't know whose that is. I think it's yours. I was like, I never had any Redken anything, and I used it once, and I was like, God, it takes a whole bunch to make it work, and I don't really. I don't know. Like that picture up there, I didn't need anything to make that happen.
I don't have any. What?
Mugs.
Mug? No,
The
sorry.
turkey exploded.
The turkey decided to die and then leaked all over the mugs, and I haven't
I heard
Haven't
addressed the
decided
issue.
a little bit about
if they had a high enough alcohol content to kill the salmonella or
Right.
not.
So, yeah, that problem has not yet been addressed. If you listen to the last episode, which you will at some point.
I did.
Yeah, it'll come out.
I did hear a little bit of it when you guys were
But-
live.
But yeah, I don't need any product to make my hair look like that, and that's pretty gnarly, I think.
No,
I look
yeah,
like-
I mean, I wish I had your hair. I have to do something with mine, or it's just like this, like I mean, it's like grass blowing in the breeze.
Oh.
'Cause it's just kind of like it's so fine, and not fine in a good way, just like thin fine.
Yeah.
But
not Catherine Zeta-Jones.
no,
Something else.
I was blessed with the Italian genes of just like alarmingly thick hair.
Jesus.
yeah, my kids have had some luck with the Italian piece of it on my wife's side, but not I.
We had the windows down yesterday, and Mara was like, "Your hair doesn't move at all in the wind, Daddy. Mine just blows around. Why doesn't yours move?" I said, "Because it's really thick." And she says, "You're my hero, Daddy."
Aw.
And then she said that today too. I was leaving. I dropped her off at my dad's house.
Oh, is that where she is?
Yeah, and she looked at me when I stood up, and she goes, "You're my hero, Daddy." And my dad was just like, "Wow, that was so cute."
Oh, are we? No, we're not muted. We can. You know what? I better
Are
go
we?
out on the website really quick and make sure that, or on the
Oh.
stream real quick, just to make sure we're
Oh yeah,
heard.
Make sure we sound.
Yeah.
yeah. Give us some comments, folks. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me
I'm
now?
telling cute stories about an adorable child.
Did you see? I've fucking loved people who aren't our friends on Facebook won't know about it, but I was so tickled when you posted that picture of Mars with Timmy.
Oh yeah.
Because I immediately showed it to Annabelle and she just ran to grab hers. Because I let Matthew had it for years when he was little, and then kind of gave it back to me. And
Yeah, Alex never cared.
yeah, now Annabelle sleeps with it every night.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm really
Alright.
sorry.
I'll
I'll
survive.
have them for the next time. I was I had to go to a big. We took on two new fourplex properties at work that I had to go do inspections for today when I got done with lunch. So I was rushing out of the house to get there on time, and I completely spaced
Your
your
junk
cookies.
must be
So
tired.
I apologize. How'd you know I got some afternoon delight?
Well, you said you had to do 2 fourplexes. That must be
Overshare,
exhausting.
man.
Overshare, man.
2 fourplexes. That's 8
Skyrockets in
apartments he
flight.
had to do.
Yeah.
That must be difficult.
Couple old people,
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
couple young people.
Built in the 1950s.
So,
Tell you one thing though, man, the people who live in those properties, if you are a homeowner, they're the kind of fucking tenants you want. Every single one of the people in all 8 of those places, they take real fucking good care of their place. Like
Nice.
it was nice.
Jesus, she looks good for having drank 2 bottles of wine daily.
Yeah, like I said, man, I've always thought she was really pretty.
And she's right in the right wheelhouse of crazy for me to accidentally pick up.
we're talking about Amber Heard.
She was in a horror movie that I saw. It was the very first thing I ever saw her in.
She is a horror movie.
Yeah, she is a horror movie. It's called All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. And it's about she's Mandy Lane, and she's this just like goddess-like object of affection for these high school kids that are all meeting up at a derelict barn to have a big party, and it turns into a slasher movie kind of basically. But that was the first thing that I ever saw her in, and I was like, man, I can understand why people are killing people for this girl. Like, she's gorgeous. And
Oh, see, I think
then,
she's passing
holy cow.
fair, but
Well, this was like 10 years ago, too.
she's crazy. And there's
She's
something
a-
about crazy girls that just attracts me for some reason.
She was a little bit younger and a little bit less. She hadn't shit in quite as many beds at that point, I don't think.
Boy.
Yeah.
She did. Okay, so
This has been a magical journey we've been on the last couple of days.
Well, and Ward's been keeping us very, very up to date.
well, so the first day of the trial, I don't even know if it's the first day.
Stipend from the Court and Justice
shit.
TV or something, man.
Well, I started watching it on Court TV. Now it's like that's where it was exclusive. Seems like it was exclusively at first. Now everyone's got it.
Oh yeah, because
is-
people are actually
yeah.
paying attention to it. It's
Like,
ratings.
it's been a bigger deal than I think.
even the
they
OJ
originally
trial
thought it
didn't
was
get
going to
this
be.
kind
Oh
of
yeah,
coverage.
way bigger.
But so
I think it's because the cute blonde's still alive. and
Depp's
she's a
testimony when he first starts out is he's basically giving like his life history.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like a inside the actor's studio biography. Like the only thing missing was James Lipton.
Just hanging out with James Lipton.
But he's just sitting there, he's giving this whole history, and it's all like talks about his history with abuse from his mother and et cetera, and all that. And then so like after the first day I was like, this kind of like, I mean, it wasn't uninteresting, it was interesting, but it wasn't
Gripping.
engaging. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like as soon as I kind of like decided to like check out for a little bit, then all the stuff like shit starts getting clipped and like
That was when he started
Then
getting
I'm like,
real
I need-
playful with the
yeah.
attorney, and when
like he woke up suddenly. And
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
because some of the clips that have come up since then, where he's like,
The level of sarcasm
he's like, that's probably hearsay. Yeah,
it's so great.
that's hearsay, I guess.
I don't know because I haven't paid as much attention to it as say like maybe you have, but he seemed to right around that time was when he kind of seemed to hit his groove a little bit in terms of it, where he just I think he kind of became aware of what a farce it was, and that he
Yes.
was really, really looking like he was on the winning side of things. And I think
As soon as it became, then he became almost a Jack Sparrow.
yeah,
type
he kind
character.
of had that little bit of
like-
playful, just ha ha ha.
Yeah, he's like,
But you have heard of me, swagger to it, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know. Once you get up there and you're a little more comfortable in the seat, I think you've got to play a little bit.
Get over that initial. Ugh.
Yeah, because
Ness
it's
of
not
it.
a comfortable place to be.
No, it's not somewhere anybody wants to be.
And she's constant, like they do the cutaways to her, and she's constantly got this like melancholy, sad look on her face. They cut away to him when he's on the
It's-
bench or
yeah.
sitting with his lawyer and stuff. They're joshing around.
He looks
They're
like
just
the
sitting there
cat that
having
got the canary.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
laughing, having a gay old time. And her, like, every time you cut away to her, if she's talking to her lawyers, it's this panicked, like, hand gesture. Like, there's not a lot
What the
of,
fuck
like,
are you doing?
short, brief.
Yeah.
There are some
Fun
times,
talk.
though, when, like, the predator comes out of her and you'll see, like, little smiles.
It's the
Yeah.
eyes for
Yeah.
me.
And,
It's
but
the
she'll
eyes.
get that little smile, like, and she'll forget where she is.
Yeah.
And she gets that look like, oh, I remember when I did that, and that was so fun. Look
Right.
what I did. I
The
totally
satisfaction
did.
that she
And the
I was
corner of
so
her mouth,
fucking
you
mean
can
to
see
him.
her fighting that smile back. And
Exactly.
Look what I
You-
did to him.
Yeah.
And look what I made him admit in front of people.
Well, that.
And that quote that you put in.
That's
when,
what I was just going to reference. I got to pull my phone out so that I can.
I had to hop and find that audio. I'm not going to play it on the show, but you can read the quote. But
It was. Oh wait, that's
Other chat.
that's the wrong chat. Yeah, it was. And I wish I cut out what the rest of it said. That wasn't the quote, but it was like the nail in the coffin. Da da da. You know, some fluff piece to it.
Right,
yeah,
right.
God,
But
they fucking
I
fucked that
thought
shit up.
what you thought initially, that it was like a text message or something, but no, apparently it is actual audio of her saying, and I quote, "Tell the world, Johnny. Tell the world I, Johnny Depp, a white man, am a victim of domestic violence, and see who believes you. See how many people take your side." That
Audio, folks.
is, yeah.
And,
like,
but when you listen to the audio, because I went and I found the audio.
okay, see, I haven't listened
and
to
she's
the
all
audio.
blubbery and shit. But you go back, like you can see she's laying groundwork early on with all capturing all this audio stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you're listening and you haven't guessed what side we come down on,
Yeah.
but
Spoiler alert, men are victims too.
but yeah, and
You,
I mean, the writing's right there, but you can see like she's doing this early on, and I don't remember what the timing of that op-ed was, but I think it seemed to it really closely coincided with Harvey Weinstein getting canceled, Kevin Spacey getting canceled,
yeah.
and I feel like this was her moment to turn the tables.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
basically.
was.
And so she was like, I'm going to go ahead and try to fix this narrative so that I can
bend this. I can jump on the Me Too bandwagon.
I can Beckham this shit.
Yep.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And you know what the problem with female abusers is? They all think they're smarter than they are.
Yeah.
Every fucking one of them thinks she's a goddamn criminal mastermind.
Yep.
And none of them are. And sometimes it takes years to get that shit turned around.
And recording
away from
these
them.
conversations, she comes out looking worse than him in every single one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, she's using these things to try and build her narrative, and all she's doing is digging her hole.
Yeah.
Which plays into her mental illness, which is she believes she's vindicated in her.
She's
line of
clearly got
thinking.
some serious,
And people are
serious
saying-
issues.
People always say document, record all your conversations. No, it makes you look like you're trying to do something.
It
makes
does.
you look like some sort of criminal.
It makes you look
in
like
the
a
long term,
borderline
it makes you
sycophant
look
of
fucking worse.
where you have this like unhealthy fixation on it. It does not benefit you.
And then you end up in this situation there, and people are like, well, do you have any recordings? No, I wasn't fucking in a situation that I thought I needed to record everything I said. I get that it's 2022, but fuck you. I'm not going to turn my phone on record every conversation I have with my wife.
Yeah, so Depp, he's not recording stuff because he's thinking this is just a squabble.
Yeah.
This is a private squabble.
Yep.
But she's recording
because she's trying to
she's laying the groundwork to build her narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess, and I probably don't know half of what you know, Ward.
I only know
you're probably
bits and pieces because I'm in and out of this whole thing. But
it's
like
on
today,
the background for you.
And today I watched the clinical psychologist who was from it's Depp's witness.
I'll bet that was interesting.
And she did a whole clinical evaluation of her and basically
of her personality profile and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean she's no bueno.
Oh, I bet that was. I might have to look.
But
that sounds interesting.
My mom just sent me this article and said, "Who does this sound like?" I'm not going to go into that, but it says Amber Heard had personality disorders linked to violence and making up stories. A clinical psychologist who evaluated her says.
Yeah,
psychologist hired by Amber Heard testified on behalf of Johnny Depp in his defamation trial. Fucking oops.
And then her lawyer, the female lawyer, is up there trying to say, basically the gist of what she's saying is, had your findings been in favor of Heard rather than Depp, you wouldn't be here, would you? And it's kind of like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here because, well, maybe I would because you'd have called me to testify on behalf of Heard.
Yeah.
Right.
But since
that's one of those self-explanatory answers. It's like, why are you asking me this question?
Right. I'll send you the clip that's like perfect. It's succinct, and then there's a whole part about a muffin, and the clinical psychologist owns. She's like, can I clarify this so that we can move on beyond the muffin? I mean, it's great.
This headline. So what is this? Oh, it's on We Got This Covered. Johnny Depp's house manager alleges Amber Heard drank up to 2 bottles of wine daily.
Good for her.
It reminds me of, I know you watched it, but it reminds me of that recent Kristen Bell show on Netflix, the woman in the house across the street, where she's got the wine glasses that are literally exactly the size of a wine bottle that she fills one glass to the brim and then brings the backup bottle with her. Yeah. Like that's what I envision when I think about this.
And none of the substance use bothers like that. That seems pointless to the case because they're like her attorneys will get up there and start hammering on him about, and you use cocaine and you did this. He's like, yes.
You got high and fell asleep with ice cream in your lap one time.
Right.
His response to that was great though. Like I obviously didn't partake in the ritual of ice cream or something. Like, did you hear that line? That
No.
was
I
such a
know
good
I didn't,
line.
but that's great.
Yeah, he's like, yeah,
That's great.
I didn't participate in the ritual of ice cream.
Well,
What a
and
shame.
and from what my understanding is, she put that in his hand,
Yeah,
knowing
had
he was about
had
to
one hand in
That's
his
I
pocket.
heard. I heard that.
and about to like nod off.
I wasn't invested in the ritual.
But
of
again,
God, I can't
it's
remember what the line was. It was good.
the equivalence or complete lack thereof of okay, I'm painting my narrative because look at this, he got really messed up and fell asleep and his ice cream spilled in his lap.
Right,
'Cause
look at
that's
what
how
a
messed
mess
up.
he
Look
is.
at what a mess he is. And then on the flip side of it, you've got her, and it's like, look at what a mess she is. She was intoxicated and she shit in my bed and
Yeah.
tried to cut my finger off. It's like one of these is not like the other,
Right.
folks.
Who wins
Like,
that round?
at all.
He passed out in a chair. She shit in the bed.
Yeah, like
Right.
if he shit in the
went-
chair,
and
then maybe we'd be talking.
and then
but
headed off to Coachella.
Yeah.
Just as soon as I
Yeah.
get done shitting, I'm going to Coachella for
Yeah.
the weekend.
no, it's
Yeah. Did she wipe
I-
on the pillow or
I
she go into the
I'm
latrine for that?
I
Sure,
hope
they have a bidet.
I really
Oh.
hope that
Scrub a dub.
this continues to play out in the way that it is thus far. Because from the standpoint of advocating for men who are victimized and stuff like that, I love seeing shit that plays out like this, because it is a microcosm of her statement. Yeah, go tell people. Who's going to listen to you? That thought pattern is so terrifying and
Right.
accurate in so many ways, because there still are tons and tons of
here's-
she's a chick. What do you mean she beat you up?
Right.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna fucking punch back because
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
her
not supposed
bones are
to.
fragile.
I'm not supposed to do that because I
Girls
was
have
raised
bird
right.
bones.
Like,
Well, and what's interesting about the way I've seen some of the coverage on this is it differs in a lot of ways than what you've seen before, where like when they're talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they're not talking about anything that Johnny Depp is doing in about anything that he's alleged to have done in any kind of like abhorrent sense.
No, not at all.
They're not like. There's no tone of disgust. There's almost like a tone of sympathy.
there
with-
is,
Because he's the
and
victim.
there's also a really disproportionate amount of like you're not seeing these articles that are like, oh, Johnny Depp did this. It's not an article about what Johnny Depp did. It's an article about Amber Heard drinking 2 bottles of wine, or
Right.
Amber Heard shitting in the bed, or Amber Heard doing this. There's no sensationalist
and her
articles.
argument's going to be that his team just has more power.
No,
But I don't think that's
they're weak arguments, and they're
accurate.
falling on deaf ears because everybody can tell that it's
her
bullshit.
her team.
That little bitch boy that she's got for an attorney is part of her problem.
Oh yeah,
What a fucking cunt
Ah,
he
yeah.
is.
God
And I don't
bless.
use that
God
term
bless
lightly.
bad lawyers.
his female counterpart isn't much better.
Well, and the female on Depp's team is a fucking barracuda. That girl
Oh.
was eating that man alive. And maybe it's just women are bad at choosing lawyers. I don't know if that's what it is, but it was
Not
a complete
exclusively.
fucking shit show.
Not exclusively. I mean, I know from not my own personal experience, but from other people that I know and things that they've gone through. I know some guys who have gotten the raw end of the deal simply because the woman they were getting away from was real fucking savvy on who she picked as a lawyer. Like, I don't know that it's a blanket statement, but there might be some truth to the idea. Maybe they. Well, it's okay. So, not to get into too much personal stuff, but as a reference, I had a situation that very easily could have been resolved via like maybe 2, maybe 3 conversations between me, my ex-wife, her attorney and her. You know, it was a very, very simple thing, but because she, for one, elected to get an attorney for whatever reason, and for 2, on top of that, decided that she was going to get an attorney who is all the things wrong with attorneys. I can't even have a conversation with the woman. She won't return my calls, and she won't field conversations with me because there's no way for it to be billed. And it's like, so, like, do you really have any kind of care or interest in this situation? And I'm on the opposing side of her. I don't want her to be thorough and good. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I'm pretty squeaky clean in regards to it anyway. But like, you would think that I'd be like, yeah, I like that she's difficult and it costs money for every little thing. And but even I, being on the opposite end of it, am looking at it like, this is really fucked up and shitty of you. And like, you are exploiting this for no other reason than the dollar signs. You don't give a fuck about fairness. You don't give a fuck about the law. You figured out that you could make a lot of money being a lawyer, and that's why you're a lawyer.
Right. That's your ex-wife is just another name on the docket.
Exactly. They don't give a fuck about the nuances of the case.
But yeah, so I'm anxious to. I'm ready for it to be done so we can just see like the ultimate outcome. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see, I've seen some stuff like I'd like to see Depp have a career back to some degree or another.
See, and I'm on the fence about that. That was one of the things that I've really taken away from all of this was I checked out on Johnny Depp and had been for a while.
But I think about this though. I had checked out on Johnny Depp there
career-wise,
a little bit career-wise, and I was, but you have to remember some of these movies that he's been putting out or has been in has been during
going through all this
relationship.
Yeah, exactly,
and
so it's made me kind of reevaluate it a little bit.
Filmography is under that.
Pressure. Don't care what you're going through. Yeah. Don't care what you're going through. Do your job.
Well, sure. There's that.
My big issue with
but at the same time
is
it's informing his performance in some way or another.
Oh hell yeah!
It's hard to be at the top of your game when you got shit like this going on.
What's Will Turner's woman's name?
Oh, Keira Knightley?
No, the character.
Oh,
Elizabeth Swann. He should have been way more hostile to her. She is blonde. She was blonde and an aggressive female. He shouldn't have put up with that shit.
She's also got really good facial structure, just like Amber Heard.
She does.
I'll give her
Tits
that.
are way smaller.
But
hey-o!
No, I my big
Sit
thing.
here while we evaluate blondes.
My
here
right.
On the Times Spent Poorly program.
We bounce very quickly from defending male victims of domestic abuse to belittling flat-chested women.
To objectifying women.
No, my thing about Depp and his work and kind of checking out of it was, say, right around the time, I'd say probably the second Pirates movie, before the Captain Jack thing had gotten very fucking stale and kind of become a caricature of itself. That character's a lot different in Curse of the Black Pearl than he is in, say, like On Stranger Tides.
Have you seen the film theory about that?
I don't believe so.
It's fascinating.
Send it to me because I don't believe I've seen it, and I'd be interested to see it
Yeah.
because it's something that interests me.
Jack Sparrow.
The character is so radically different from movie 1 to movie 4 or 5 or whatever.
Dying of thirst, and how there's other characters are sweating and he's never sweating, and I mean there's
interesting.
There's all kinds of evidence that he's dying of thirst, and that's the reason. Like he's
for the hallucinogenic.
Almost all of his symptoms, and it's weird because he'll like run everywhere, or like even in Black Pearl, he sword fights in that flaming room with Will Turner.
Yeah.
Will Turner's sweating, and
and
Jack
he's
Sparrow is not.
See, and I attributed that to spoilers for a movie that's 20 years old, him being under the curse and technically being dead. That's what I attributed.
He's not cursed there.
Is he not?
No, he doesn't get cursed until they go to Isla de Muerte and he takes a coin out. Because he steps into the moonlight and says, "Oh, that's weird." He isn't cursed at that point.
So
you're correct. Yeah,
we're gonna kind of go through the filmography here from the point that Pirates kind of. It's not that Depp was not on the map because he's been around for years.
Right.
Well, it was Pirates kind of commercialized his status.
And he kind of
genius movie.
It's pretty. It's another one that I kind of would willingly call perfect
Yeah.
in terms of what it set out to do, like Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Jurassic Park, kind of like couldn't do it any better.
Especially since they based
But
it off a fucking
he-
theme park ride.
Pirates 1 was lightning in a bottle almost. Pirates 2 was kind of the tipping point of where Johnny Depp, that Captain Jack personality carried over and started informing almost all of his roles. There was a lot of similarity.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he continued to have his wagon tied to Tim Burton and the complete lack of imagination that Tim Burton has displayed.
Well, so yeah, he's
He
got.
is a one-trick pony.
Boy, howdy.
So he does The Libertine, which I like a lot. I'm gonna say a lot
Never
of the
watched
stuff
it.
that I'm gonna mention. I've not watched.
Yeah.
In this, so I want to. This is pre Amber Heard.
Okay.
So
what year are we starting at?
We're going to
here?
start at 2003. That's
Okay.
when the first Pirates
When
came
Curse
out.
of the Black Pearl came
So
out.
Johnny's hot. So mostly only thing anybody's really thinking about at this point is Johnny Depp in the pirate movies.
Yes.
So basically, any movie that he does in addition to that is
Yeah.
just kind of like nobody cares, but it's there. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I actually liked that
I
movie.
love that movie.
Okay.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexican?
I'll be the dissenting voice. I didn't care for that movie.
Yeah, I think
It was too cartoony.
It was too Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But
I had fun with it though. It's
Yeah.
not one I've gone back to like I rewatched Desperado a lot.
do you know why Desperado was better? He had less money.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez is like Zack Snyder. He does a lot better when he has less
And it's funny
things
because
available to him.
Desperado was his more money movie because El
Mariachi was the
no money movie.
And it went from like El Mariachi to Desperado to Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's really funny.
But he had
To
he had
Spy
more money.
Kids.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
And
There's a little bit of redeeming quality in the Spy Kids movies. I'll give them
I
that.
can dig it.
I'll give them
There's some,
that.
but listen,
But
he
still,
had one absurd scene, and it was when Steve Buscemi was telling the story.
yeah,
And so he got that, but that was an exaggerated moment of storytelling.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
You have
he
the
had
unreliable narrator
that. And then,
creating the cartoon violence.
so I choose to look at Once Upon a Time in Mexico as someone telling an absurd bar story the whole way through.
correct.
And then I
That
don't.
makes it a
Then I
lot
don't
more
miss that.
palatable.
Because-
That would make it a lot more palatable.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And now I think I want to go back and
Wasn't
rewatch
it-
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Depp loses his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's really not much, like he just is not behaving as someone would behave if they just lost their eyes.
Right.
Yeah, he's got the
Kinda
chick thing,
thing,
like walking him
and-
through stuff. and
Yeah,
telling her to shoot.
yeah.
There's some really absurd things.
Okay,
And-
I
but
can
if you look
see
at
that
it as
perspective, though. That makes sense.
Steve Buscemi just telling a story the whole way through. It's not so bad.
Right.
That I can see that. Okay.
So 04, Secret Window. I don't even remember what that's about. Or
We saw
who's
that.
in it.
We
We
saw
saw
that
that with
together.
Bub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a
a
Stephen
fucking
King
great
one.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good-
I remember
good
that
story,
one now.
good
I
book.
had to look at the poster.
His
Good.
face at the end when he eats the corn is so spot on.
Yep.
And I'd read this story years before. Was it years before?
It was in different seasons, if I remember correctly.
So it wasn't too many years before.
Because I read it when I was in high school.
Then he did some French film that
What was that?
called Happily Ever After. It was a cameo. So just
see
cross that one off. Libertine, I never saw that one.
See that
Never seen it.
Finding Neverland,
Solid movie.
saw it years later.
Really
It's
solid
okay.
movie. Good performances.
I've seen the play. The play's okay.
Kind of boring, but
Yeah.
good performances.
I think the boring is the part that
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Oof.
I didn't
Corpse
watch it.
Bride.
Burn every copy of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I
that
didn't watch-
that belongs in a fucking landfill like it did with the ET Atari games, man. That movie was a fucking
And then
travesty.
it's 06, 07, Pirates 2, Pirates 3. The other thing is so there's 3 years between Pirates 1 and Pirates 2.
Mm-hmm.
So Pirates 2 felt a little bit better than Pirates 3. Pirates 3, and this is just my memory of it, Pirates 3 felt rushed.
They shot
Which
those
it
like
was.
they
They
did
shot
The
them back to
Matrix.
back.
Well, they shot them back
They
to
just
back,
shot 'em together.
and they
Boy, the music in those were so much
They-
better than the first one.
they
If
overshot
you go back
the
and watch
scope.
all three of those together. The only thing wrong with the first one was Hans Zimmer was just it was his like crew that did the music for it, and he did the music for the second two himself. Like he had some sort of music factory.
see, and I love the theme like that they came up with for the first one that carries over through the other movies.
Yeah.
The rest of the music is kind of take it or leave it.
But
that,
two and three, he did all of the music
Yeah.
for, and he just did the theme for the first one, and then let his music factory do the
okay.
shit for the rest of it. And if you go back and listen to them all, like it's so fucking spot on in 2 and 3. And the first one is just kind of
a lot of my
but it's
a lot of my problem with 3, which is 3 at World's End.
Yeah.
Ward?
Yeah.
The scope of it got too big.
Which is
There
the
was-
one where he's like running around on a wheel and shit. Was that
That's the
3?
second
That's the
Is that the
second,
second
one.
one?
Yeah,
that's the final
that's
fight
the
of the second
like.
Which is all that's fun and everything,
Yeah.
but it just like God, it's getting so fucking long.
Yeah,
Yeah, they could have trimmed
there
them
was
both down.
they were both definitely way too long. But yeah, the third one was they brought in there was the
Brethren Court.
Brethren Court. There was the voodoo chick who wound up making herself a
Tiadalma.
giant Tiadalma. I don't know. It just, like I said, one guy's opinion, the scope got way too big. It was that was a movie that somehow was bloated and too long, and managed to feel even longer than it was.
Yeah.
And more bloated. Than
But it didn't.
was.
But that didn't matter. And this
Like,
is still
watching
pre-Heard.
Lord of the Rings feels shorter than watching that movie.
Yeah.
And and this is pre-Heard. So that
Yeah.
these are long.
When did they get together?
I'll
do we-
After
get to
Rum
that? Yeah.
Diary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then it's Sweeney Todd.
Don't like
I didn't see that. I saw that as a play at the Civic
I've been
Theater.
told.
Tori, I
I've
don't-
been told it's good.
Tori. I don't know if you're listening. It's one of Tori's favorite movies. I don't do musicals, but
I don't either.
I don't know. I just
I've been
they're
told
not,
to watch
they're
it,
not
but
my
I
thing.
can't. I haven't been able to get into
It's
to doing it.
It's solid. Depp doesn't sing really well, but the cast around him, Helena Bonham Carter, Sacha Baron Cohen, there's a and
Snape.
that's yeah, and Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
And that's a
Does
movie.
Alan Rickman play the judge?
God, I don't.
I don't even
remember.
know.
I don't remember. But that was a movie that was the Tim Burton being a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
That was something like Nightmare Before Christmas or like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
that fit in
His wheelhouse.
that wheelhouse.
Like,
so it
Sleepy
worked.
Hollow.
Yeah, Sleepy
Right.
Hollow is
That
fucking
was
great.
all right.
I really like Sleepy Hollow. But no,
Johnny
I'm
Depp.
not big on musicals, but I would even vouch for Sweeney Todd. It's not bad. It's just not my cup of tea.
What did Tori say?
I don't know. I can't
Yes, he
read.
does.
Do we have a way that we can get this up on our screen as well as the projector? Because I can't. My eyes are shit. I can't read that.
I can work on it. I can't today.
Okay,
but-
no worries.
Yes, he does. Sweet.
Yeah,
called
Depp is not the best singer, which is definitely one of the drawbacks of the movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So then we have so there's Sweeney Todd. Then he fills in part of that role in Imaginarium after Heath Ledger died.
after Heath Ledger died, yeah. God, I love
Public
that
Enemies.
movie.
I liked Public Enemies.
I've never stayed awake through all of it.
I didn't
It's
care for
so
it.
Fucking long.
I didn't care for it.
It is a long
was-
movie, but it was. I didn't think it was terrible.
It was
thought
a real.
isn't.
It was a
It's
real
just one
take
of
it or
those
leave it
ones
movie
that-
for me.
It's too long for when I start movies.
I have very, very little memory of it because I remember it just kind of being all right.
Then we have Alice in Wonderland,
Wretch.
Who's the heck?
The Tourist.
That was
Wretch. I
pretty
didn't.
okay.
I did not like that movie.
I didn't dislike it.
I was bored as fuck.
Yeah.
And Rango, and I liked
Rango.
Rango.
Rango
Awesome.
is Rango is one of the best Western movies I've ever seen.
And Timothy Olyphant, I thought that was actually Clint Eastwood.
Dude, right?
He nailed
That is,
that voice.
yeah, that's a good impression.
Then after Rango is
Dark Shadows is
Pirates
in there
4.
somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, coming up.
That one was disappointing. I really wanted that to be good.
And then here's where
Blackbeard was
Part of my problem with that movie is just the simple expectation letdown of like, man, you got Ian McShane and Penelope Cruz and all these people that I really, really like that are really talented, and
the cut rate, Will and Elizabeth,
the kid from
they just weren't like
Brendan. Is it Brendan or Brandon Thwaite? He was in that, and he was in that fucking god awful Gods of Egypt movie as well, where he was the same kind of character. Fuck that. Oh,
but like
that guy
Ian
sucks.
McShane knew what movie he was in, and
Yeah.
he played it to the fucking hilt.
Yeah.
And every Blackbeard scene is just nails, and the rest of the movie is just kind of
Meh.
eh.
It is way meh.
And Discount Will and fucking Kmart Elizabeth were
Yep.
just like, go away.
Yep.
Go away now.
Neither one. What's sad is that neither one of them, the fucking Great Value brand, Will and Elizabeth, neither one of them are good.
No.
It would be passable if at least one of them was decent, but
Sunbeam Will and Elizabeth.
fucking
Sunbeam couple.
So Pirates 4,
Nailed
Then we're enter Amber Heard.
okay.
Now, Rum Diary is a good movie. It's an even better book. I don't know if either of you have read it.
Never read the book.
But
Love the movie.
I
though.
bought it.
Really enjoyed the movie.
in an airport when I was flying back here from Georgia, probably, and I was like, "This is so fucking good."
It's one of those movies that reminds me of a good conversation. You just kind of slip into it, and it's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think every Hunter Thompson book is like that.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
the
believe
only
that.
fiction he ever wrote,
Uh,
and it was only kind of fiction. But and the movie pretty much grabbed it because he and Hunter were friends, and he wasn't about to do something wrong.
right. No, yeah, he wanted to. Yeah, they were close friends after Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
yeah. They got really, really close.
So Jack and Jill next as a uncredited cameo, and he does a cameo in 21 Jump Street. Then it's Dark Shadows in 2012. Then I
missed
think
that.
he marries or hooks up. They start hooking up around 2013, and they get married
The only thing
shortly thereafter.
the only thing that Dark Shadows had going for it was Eva Green.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I like
Those-
that movie
those
actually.
two
Really?
are, like generationally.
I didn't care for it.
I didn't think it was
My screen
Terrible.
Didn't care for it.
Really.
Eva Green's impossibly.
Jackie Earle Haley's good in it.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good
but he's
actor.
good in everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Diminutive.
Then Lone Ranger.
Woof.
leprechaun motherfucker. And that was-
Lone Ranger makes me laugh because it's one of those things that's like
that was legitimately him just doing Jack Sparrow.
it was
Yeah.
it wasn't it was like the dawning. What year was that?
13.
13. It was like the dawning era
It's
of
only been 9 years.
God, that's unbelievable.
It feels longer.
It
haven't
does.
even seen it.
It really
Army
does.
Hammer. Whatever happened
Yeah.
to Army Hammer?
Well,
He
he had a
choked a bitch.
he had a weird abusive cannibalistic fetish and got canceled.
Yeah, he choked a bitch and tried to eat her or something.
yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
that,
And that would
was
be a lot
shit.
funnier if it wasn't the truth. But
That's
It's
true.
funny anyway because it didn't happen to me.
no, that
But-
that whole performance of Depp as Tonto, we were in the like advent of the wokeness era.
Did they
around
explain
then-
why that was the way it was?
And-
Like, was he?
I've never heard any justifiable
Why they cast
explanation.
him and not
It was
like-
it was like when they made John fucking Wayne play
A black man?
what Asian character was it that John Wayne played in that movie?
John Wayne ever played?
John Wayne only ever played tall white guys.
No,
He played an Asian.
false.
You're gonna have to find that
Give
one.
me one moment here, fellas.
I'm not going down that rabbit
I'll
hole.
believe you because I don't think I ever liked a John Wayne movie.
Oh, wow.
I just don't like him. I never liked him.
Huh.
My great grandpa.
He played a Mongol warrior in
Oh,
the
fuck yeah.
1956 film The Conqueror. That's him
awesome.
right there.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
John
dude,
Wayne.
that's like, you want to talk cultural appropriation or shit that wouldn't get made today.
Jesus, he appropriated
And
the shit out
that
of
was
it.
the very first thing that I thought of when I saw anything about, like, even just the initial trailer of Depp as Tonto. I was just like, man, how'd they get away with this? This
John
seems like
Wayne
something
the
that
shit
people
out of
would be all over, like, get your torch and pitchforks. They wouldn't
Yeah.
let Scarlett Johansson play an Asian character that had been whitewashed, but they throw fucking Johnny Depp as Tonto? Like,
But didn't he play like some kid that had gotten kidnapped by and raised in the tribe or something?
he was...
Wasn't it explained in the movie why a white dude was playing? And is he a white dude? Like,
that's the thing, is
he's so racially
they
ambiguous.
play
Like-
up, they lean into the racial ambiguity. He's substantially tanner with darker hair than like
And he's
William Fichtner
painted
is
like
the
a
William
fucking
Fichtner's
ghost
the
or
bad guy, and he chews the shit out of the scenery. I like William Fichtner.
I like him
He's
in everything.
really
he's in.
great in everything.
He's a
But
high fiber.
there's a lot of white people in it, and then there's Johnny Depp, who they're really leaning into the fact that they're not trying to make him white, even
You
if
don't
they
get
try
much
to
whiter
explain it
than
in the
Armie
story.
Hammer.
And yeah, that was one of the ones I was just
He
like,
chokes
holy
bitches and
fuck!
tries to eat
How
them.
did this
Like,
get made? This
That's as white as you get.
I will readily admit.
Inspired me.
I mean, anybody that listens to the show can attest to how maybe like ethically or morally gray we get with some of the stuff. And even I was like, man, that is racist as shit. I can't believe they did that. And you
In
know, if
2013.
you know if it makes me say it, that it's like, oof, man, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Damn.
Well, what
And
was
that
that?
was-
It's Ron Simmons when you need it.
That was
Damn.
That was 2013. You said for Lone Ranger.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we've got, and I'll race through these. Lucky Them, Cameo, never saw it. Transcendence.
That was good.
It's better
Better.
than I liked it, but I felt like there were some execution pieces to it. that
I liked it because
Better
that's what I want to do.
Better in
Right,
theory
yeah,
than execution. That was my thing with that movie.
right. I thought there was
Good
some
idea, bad
pieces
execution.
That, yeah, like that weird Johnny Replicas movie. Is
Well, it was a lot better than Replicas, but
I'll
you're
give
not
it that.
wrong.
But Replicas did not know what it wanted to do.
What year was Transcendence?
14.
14. Okay.
Then we've got Tusk. Just a
Tusk?
yeah.
Really?
He plays Guy Lapointe,
Got a point.
the French detective
Oh yeah.
with the weird nose. And actually, I thought his character. I thought that was
racist because they're French.
decent and entertaining. I like Tusk.
It's solid.
Fuck
I like
you.
it. It's really weird, but I like it.
Well, and I had listened to the podcast where
That
that
was
whole
the-
idea was spawned.
Okay, so you had a little bit.
So
of
I had some.
Yeah,
I was listening
That makes
pretty
sense.
heavily to Kevin Smith at the time. So
Okay.
like that was
So
Little bit of
you got a
investment in
little
it.
Chub when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see that?
Into the Woods.
What did
These
he
are
play
all in
Into the
14.
Woods?
Wolf.
He was the wolf?
Yeah.
I saw Into the Woods here at the theater too.
Then we're into 15.
I don't
It's
think I ever watched
Mordecai. So this is when things are going
No,
south.
at the Civic Theater. I
My
never watched the movie.
my stepdad, he loves Mordecai so much.
Really?
he watches it
I think we turned off Mordecai.
regularly.
If I'm going to tell the truth.
We went over there one night. It was before Tori and I got together, so it's been a couple years ago now. But we went over for drinks and food and family dinner, movie night type thing. And it was his night to pick, and he put that on, and I was just fucking like, God damn, this movie fucking sucked.
You're like, I'm
it's
going
not,
home.
It's not.
I'm going home.
funny.
Bye.
I am not drunk enough for
I can't
this.
sit here for
It
this.
was. I don't know. Yeah, he loves it, and I'm.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I
Not a
think I
fan.
turned it off. And then Black Mass, which was okay but not great.
I didn't watch.
I don't think I ever watched it. That was the one
Did
where
he
he
play,
was Fatty Bulger or
Whitey
Yeah,
Bulger?
Whitey
Whitey
Bulger.
Bulger. Yeah.
Fatty.
Fatty Bulger.
It's the bulge around his middle made you look
Yeah.
fatty.
One of my favorite movies was that he was in, and I've not watched it a bunch, but I like Blow.
Blow's
Blow's
good.
great.
And
Solid movie.
Isn't that Penny?
Donnie Brasco is another,
Dude,
I
yeah.
love
Donnie
Donnie
Brasco's
Brasco.
great.
I've seen that probably 15 times.
but like, so all of these have had like diminishing returns as we're going on. Then Fantastic Beasts in
And
17,
he
did.
got canceled from that too. That was
Well, yeah,
After
but he
Crimes
did
of
like
Grindelwald.
after
he did
yeah.
2 of them at least. I
yeah,
think
well, he got replaced
by
during
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, he got
Oh, really?
Well, so there was Mads is the third person to play Grindelwald because there was Colin Farrell and then he became Johnny Depp and then
Oh.
he got replaced. If it was either Grindelwald was Colin Farrell and revealed himself to be Johnny Depp or vice versa. I don't remember which one it was because whole tangent, the Fantastic Beasts movies suck.
Do they?
Yeah. Disappointing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they don't like. I was somewhat passively interested in this newest one, but I'm gonna wait until it comes to HBO in a week and a half.
Yeah, right. Same. The Harry Potter world is another one of those IPs that is similar to Star Wars. It is ripe for so many cool story ideas and so much that you could do with the groundwork that they laid. But for some reason, we're 9 movies, 10 movies into it, and we're still just talking about the same 2 central characters because remember Dumbledore? Like, it just, fuck off. Fuck off, film. There is so much there that you could do with, and here we are.
Yeah, see, I just don't care.
And then-
it just hit at the wrong time for me and my kids. It was a little too early for my kids and a little too late for me, and I just don't care.
I
My
turned
mom
off.
Loves it,
I turned off the second
which is
Fantastic
funny, 'cause
Beasts.
She's Catholic as the day is long.
I
So
I don't turn off
witchcraft,
movies often, but I turned off the second one.
I didn't used to.
I try really hard not to.
I came to terms with my mortality, and I'm like, only have so much time left.
And then there's a small handful of other, including the last Pirates installment and that City of Lies, where it's the Biggie Smalls
Oh,
or
yeah.
Biggie Notorious B.I.G. What's his last name?
Biggie Smalls.
Is it Biggie Smalls? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Biggie
But it's-
Smalls,
but
but
it's-
it's
Frederick
Is
or
it Christopher something?
Forrest Whitaker's in it.
I can't remember his real name now. I'm blanking on it, but
It doesn't.
But
matter.
no, it
He's
was
dead.
it was right around when he got replaced as Grindelwald that all of
Christopher
this
Wallace.
stuff. Christopher Wallace.
Nailed it.
Right around the time that he got replaced as Grindelwald was part of the reason why he was replaced.
Yeah, and he
was
was
all
you
of
could
this
see
stuff with
shit
Amber
was
Heard started
spiraling.
to come
Yeah.
out,
Because some bitch lied.
and
It's amazing how much damage some bitch lying can do to a dude. Like, it can bankrupt your entire future.
Yeah, and I think his claim
Generationally,
against
too.
her is only going for 50 mil, right?
Yeah.
And she's
don't know.
countersuing
I
for
don't
100
know.
mil.
Is that what it is?
Is she?
Yeah.
She's gonna be sorely.
Oh man,
sorely
that is
hurt
not
on
going to
that
go
front.
her way.
Here's what I feel like is going to happen. I don't think he's going to get awarded. I don't think either one of them are going to get awarded anything.
No,
other than
probably not.
His award is going to be
Probably
the
costs.
Yeah, probably.
She'll probably have to pay his
Pay for all of his
lawyer
court
fees.
costs and
Right.
lawyer fees and everything.
but he'll probably
Maybe a small compensation, but he's not getting no
his
fucking 50 mil.
I think the court of public opinion will view him differently.
See, he's going to come out on the back end of this with the right smart producer or smart director. Somebody's going to say, "Hey,
Mel
this
Gibson's
is,
guy,
This
somebody
is the,
somebody that can
this is the spot where Johnny,
Gibson.
like what Travolta did with Pulp Fiction,
Right.
kind of thing, where it's like, hey, this guy was, we're
Iron
gonna,
Man.
or
put him in a TV
another
series,
really good
in
example.
a good TV series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marvel-
He'll
Marvel
have
scoop him
some
up.
kind of
Okay, let's cast
resurgence.
him. Who could
Yeah.
he be? in
Who
the Marvel
would
universe?
Johnny Depp be in?
And
the
not
MCU?
nothing immediately. I don't think he needs to like come back immediately. I'm saying
Mr.
like
Sinister.
3 years.
He'd be a fantastic Mr. Sinister. He could be Doctor
Shooting
fucking Doom.
shooting from the hip. That's my first. That was the very first place I went was Mr. Sinister.
Because we
See,
haven't
I
had-
don't have the comic wheelhouse that you guys have.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the dude from Sherlock Holmes play a kind of Mr. Sinister in Deadpool 2?
They alluded to, but no.
But I know he didn't turn into
Yeah,
like the full
it was alluded to, but
But wasn't he Nathaniel Essex or something?
yeah, that was the Essex Corporation was referenced, but I don't think they actually.
What's that dude's name? Eddie something?
Fuck.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, he's. I think he'll come out
He will.
okay.
He's
He's going to have to probably lay low for a little while, and I think he'll. But if Mel Gibson can have a career again, in this
Yeah.
current climate,
What's up, sugar tits?
right?
Like
if he can,
after that.
like if
you
he's
get raped,
if he's
Yeah.
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 if he can come
uh-huh.
out
Jesus.
in this current climate without getting like just tanked. Because I'm surprised. Like a lot of these guys will come out and they'll like every time Louis C.K. comes out with the special, they try to cancel him again.
Yeah.
I wish they'd leave him alone. I know we've talked
And-
about it in the chat
yeah.
quite a bit, but he didn't do anything really wrong. Like, he didn't force anybody to do anything. He didn't even touch anybody but himself. Like, leave the man alone. What did that one say?
Nerds.
Nerds!
He. The punishment
That's
must
funny on
suit the crime.
6 levels.
Yeah.
I think that the.
Yeah, Louis paid his
I
time.
do not agree with what he did, but yeah. He's no Bill Cosby.
No. Bill Cosby fucking raped a bunch of people.
Yeah, lots of people.
And
Like
he spent,
lots
what,
of
like
people.
6 weeks in prison.
And
A little
Did he spend
longer than
any
that,
time?
but
and
Any real time?
probably not real time,
Nothing
no.
to compare
It
to the
was-
crimes
it
that
was-
he committed.
It was probably pretty cushy no matter where it was.
Crept
did
into
he
our
actually
households,
go?
lowered our guards,
Man.
Oh, and not to be...
had some sort of influence
Talk about
on my
separating the
childhood.
art from the artist,
Uh,
man.
We have suffered trauma.
That's
And not to be that guy.
like we should go.
up there with like Michael
But
Jackson
is
and
there a
O.J.
class
Simpson
action
of
suit that-
separating the art from the
Right.
artist.
Is there a class action suit that we, the public, could take against Bill Cosby?
That we can. Some poor guy from the inner city of Chicago that's
all
got
get
Fat
50
Albert
cents.
tattooed on the inside of his
Right.
forearm.
That dude
So I'm
gets more than
seeking
50.
$250,000 in damages because, as you can clearly see, Fat Albert was very influential on my life, and I didn't know I was being raised and influenced by a serial rapist.
Mush mouth motherfucker. Get back in line. Get back in line. You know how many pudding pops I ate, you cocksucker? Looks like less than you, Fat
man.
Albert. But look at how this trial has been televised, and look at what we got from old Jizzy Maxwell. We got some sketches. We got some sketches from her trial.
If we were lucky.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How does this work? And I get that this one's taking place in Virginia, and I don't remember. Was hers in New York?
Yeah,
And
I don't know. There's some different laws about what can be broadcast and what can't. Because like the Rittenhouse one got broadcast, and hers was only they couldn't have cameras in the courtroom. There's some. It depends on where the trial is. There's laws on the books for it, but I don't remember the rules.
I'm so happy for that kid. I'm so happy for that kid. I hope he gets every dollar he's gone after. I don't care. Everybody who turned that one up to 11 and called him a murderer and everything else, I hope he gets every fucking dollar.
Yeah, I think that was a rash reaction, but we're a country of fucking rash reactions.
We are. Look at Johnny's situation.
We
Everybody,
sit and we talk about innocent until proved, like the person should be innocent until proven guilty. Unless I don't like that person and what they did, then they're guilty.
It's well, it's that blue mindset.
Yeah.
People are yelling about. This is a good transition into the Twitter thing.
Yeah.
Old Muskie bought the blue, and people are like, "Oh, he's gonna squash free speech." I don't think we're going to have a good discourse on there anymore. And then you look at where Twitter has donated its money. It's 97.8% toward liberal candidates. Oh, so you think that we're getting a fair, rational discourse on Twitter right now? No.
Yeah.
I subscribe to the Black People Twitter on Reddit or the Black People subreddit because it's hilarious, and of course I do. Somebody tweeted here just in the last day or so.
I'm surprised.
Guarantee you, as soon as Donald Trump gets reactivated on Twitter, the very first thing he's going to post is just the N-word, period. Just to prove a point.
I still haven't got my blue check. I know the sale hasn't gone through yet. Everybody thinks it's going to be like immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of $40-some billion process.
Well, here was one argument that came up, and I don't read the whole article usually because I don't care. I read the headlines, and then I look at pictures of the pictures of the employees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're a Twitter employee, and they're pumping your agenda. And listen, everybody, whatever you believe in, however you feel about whatever it may be, gay rights, whatever, like all that stuff, that's great. But I don't know. I don't agree with, I don't know.
You don't think they should have rights?
No, I think everybody should have rights, but I don't think that we should be pushing it on. Like, I don't know. It's hard. Like, without sounding.
I don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down.
No,
I don't.
You don't think that we should hear about everybody having rights all the time? Like, I agree that they should have rights too, but I don't think I should have to hear about them having rights every second of every day.
Right.
Like, oh God.
Yeah, it's a hard
you can
subject
vote.
to navigate because it's not. I don't have a problem or issue with every person in those I don't have a problem with gay people. I don't have a problem with women or races, but I have a problem with people dead set on an agenda that they need to jam down my throat in such a way that makes me feel like if I don't hear the message from them, I'll never understand it.
Right.
Hand in hand with that, because they're typically one and the same. People that have that kind of mentality have the same that I'm going to talk about, which is people whose identity is only tied to one thing.
That's who I don't like.
Right.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
It can be something as you reference pot smokers. Yeah.
There's too many of
But
those.
don't
Oh my
fucking.
God.
If that's the only thing that ties you to any form of an identity, you suck.
Can we have
it doesn't matter what it is.
Gays, feminists, pot smokers,
right?
Fucking
can we have just a well-rounded agenda of just acceptance of everything?
Exactly.
Yeah, your single point of identity is this one thing. You're a fucking bankrupt individual, and I have no time for you.
To use their own language against them, a person's personality or the aspects of their character are not binary; they're a spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if all you are is I'm the gay kid, or I'm the pothead, or I'm the whatever. If you only have one or two things to your personality that define you, chances are your opinion doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Sorry, not sorry. I don't mean to be a dick, but this world needs people who are well-rounded and able to be a little bit more comprehensive than just having one dimension.
Pony. Yeah, I mean, you
talk about it in storytelling and character development. You can't be one-dimensional.
You can't all be Tim Burton.
Yeah,
right. So here's my.
Oh, we lost.
No, it's back.
It's okay.
There we go.
So here's my article headline: Angry Twitter staff claim their new bosses dangerous for democracy, as they are told in an emergency meeting their jobs are only safe for 6 months until Musk completes his $44 billion takeover.
So. And
I'm like,
that's true in any business when somebody buys it.
Right.
Yeah, I was why should I feel bad for one, Twitter employees? Also,
what are Twitter employees? Like,
What do they do?
what do they do? Are they just there to be the harbingers of
Dude,
what can go up on Twitter and police that shit? There ought to be a fucking algorithm built for that already.
yeah.
There probably is. They're just fucking warm bodies there to make the
Well, yeah, and it's not
as
like
that
he's gonna
extra
fucking fire the
filter, that
people
extra piece of scrutiny.
maintain
Yep.
the servers.
There ought to be
What do they do?
somebody. Right. There's nothing that they're doing other than dismantling.
It's like the office
free
space.
speech.
Yeah, but what specifically do you do?
Right.
What?
What is
do
it that you do here?
Yeah.
Bob, I'm a people person. I handle people.
And do I want Trump back on Twitter?
No.
I don't.
Not
care.
really, but I don't fucking
I
care.
don't.
People are going to listen to him whether he's on Twitter
You know
or
what
not,
else?
so
don't
what
want
do
him
I
back in
care?
the fucking White House either.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
want him in the fucking White House.
I didn't
the
want him
first
there to
place,
begin
yeah.
with.
And I'm on the red side of things. I'm more on the libertarian side of things. And the older I get, the more anarchistic I get. But I don't want him in the fucking White House. I didn't want him in the fucking White House in the first place because he's a fucking douchebag and a bully.
You see, that's my thing. His problems for me don't fall on party line size.
Nope.
They fall on character and personality.
Nope.
He's a
Right.
fucking piece of shit.
He's abrasive.
He could be a
But-
Democrat who literally
He is
leaned
a
in.
Democrat. I don't care what
Well,
tie he
yeah,
puts on.
that's okay.
He's been a Democrat
there's an
most
argument
of
to
his
be
life.
made for that. There's an argument to be made for that.
And
But-
no, he said it in an interview
He
on
could be-
television in 1992.
Well, yeah.
He said, if I ever run for president, I'm going to do
I'm
it
gonna
as
be a
Republican
Democrat
because
it's
they,
what did he say? It's
they'll vote
easier.
for anybody.
Yeah, they'll vote. Yeah.
And you know the dude's watching himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's watching his 40-year-old self, or probably 35, 38-year-old self there talking. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because he's lost his
No,
fucking mind
he could-
over the years.
he could have
sees
been-
that. He's like, that's me. I said that. I'm going to fucking fulfill the prophecy
Yep.
and do that.
he
And
could
he's
have
not
been-
a hero. He's not on your team.
He-
He's not with Joe's six-pack. He's a fucking elite.
The thought experiment that I wonder about
Fucking assholes think
in
he's
relation
some
to
kind of
that
fucking-
is imagine a world where he is the same person, and I know this is a bit of a stretch because it's hard for him to be the same person but change the political views, but you know, you're not going to find the guy who talks about maybe some of the ideas I'm going to float, talking about grabbing chicks by the pussy and stuff. But
No, see, that was when I wanted to high five.
anyway,
I was all right with that. I don't give a shit.
imagine a world.
Locker room talk is locker room talk. He
Ima-
sounds like a dude who's never actually had somebody want him to do that.
Yeah, who's never actually engaged
Or-
in locker room
Or
talk.
he's been around those girls that only chase old dudes for money.
Yeah.
As he walks in,
Like,
the
Well,
locker
I'm
there's
room,
sure
everyone's
that's
like,
been his
"Uh-huh,
world.
hey,
for-
hey,
There's
hey,
been
Trump's
a
here, Trump's here."
particular type of woman that he's been around.
Yeah.
And there are women like that. And you know, housewives like to be like, oh, girls aren't like that. Yes, there are women like that.
Oh
Just
yeah.
like there are
No,
men
they're
like that.
100%. Yeah.
Just like there are men like that, there are women like that. There are girls who are all about rich dudes grabbing them by the pussy.
But
it's not some magical fucking world where every girl is this pure bastion.
Some of them want
femininity.
that. Some
Like,
of them, that is actively what they seek.
Some of them are all about that shit.
But
It's okay.
imagine in the mirror universe of the multiverse where he is exactly the same character-wise and personality-wise. He is as off-putting of a fuckhead as he is. But say he's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Say instead of pissing off the woke crowd Democrats in the way that he did, say that it was the flip and he was pissing off the Republicans and he was like, no, not only are we going to make gay marriage legal in every state, we're going to make it mandatory that you talk about fluid sexuality to every kid in 6th grade as part of a new national education sexual education program. Like, if he went as hard down the opposite end of the spectrum line as he did,
he wouldn't have got
Go,
elected.
go. Well, no. For one, he wouldn't have got elected.
'Cause those
But
people
for
don't
two,
vote.
ask those super woke people who are the ones who are, in my opinion, just as bad as the people on the opposite side, because I'm sorry, I don't think it's okay that you drive around with a flag that says fuck Biden on it, but I also don't think it's okay for somebody to light your fuck Biden flag on fire, because that's yours. That's not cool.
No, yeah, I see. Like, there's
It's
a
destruction of private
It's
property.
there's a kid
it's
that-
uncalled for. You're the extreme on the opposite end. But what would all of those young woke Democrats think about a Donald Trump who supported their agenda but was still an off-putting cunt?
Oh, if he was still grabbing pussies, but he was grabbing pussies for their god.
Yeah, exactly. then what do they say?
Yeah. Oh, they would excuse it, just like they excused Bill Cosby for fucking decades until he started saying you need to quit naming your children LaQuisha and wondering why they can't get jobs.
Yeah.
You need to stop acting like this and wondering why you're
And
getting
wondering
this result.
why you get this outcome.
Yeah.
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 He was fine until he said you're doing it wrong, and then they turned on him. He
Yeah.
was protected because he was Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
They were fine with him raping women until he spoke up and said, you're doing it wrong. And then they turned on him.
Yep.
He was a protected individual. And who was it? Was it Hannibal Buress that was...
Yeah, it was Hannibal Buress.
He talked about that shit for 20 years before anybody made any noise.
And what's funny is, like, you listen to interviews with Hannibal Buress because that's what he became so initially famous for. I mean, he's gone on to do more since. I think he's really funny. I actually really like him.
Yeah.
But the very first thing that he says anytime it gets brought up is, I wasn't fucking talking about anything new.
Yeah.
I was talking about something that we've all known about for decades, but for some reason people just decided to pay attention to it when I talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he did,
like you said,
and
went
he did,
against the message, but
he
it
did
was
a lot of great
it was
things
the
for the black
message
community.
instead of
But he also raped people.
yeah.
And, you know, Chappelle talked about it in one of his
Yeah.
Netflix
Yeah, he
specials.
did.
He's like, he rapes, but he saves.
Mm-hmm.
You know? God, that was a well-crafted comedy hour.
Really good.
But
Chappelle's probably the only person I'd put on par with Garland.
from the nowadays?
Yeah. In terms of
Crafting an hour.
and it makes you think.
Yeah.
It is not just funny and vulgar and profound. It really, there's a lot to it.
You can
It's
find
social commentary.
You can
as
find
much as it's
Carlin
comedy.
specials, I think, on either Tubi
Prime.
or
Most of them are
There
online.
there are several on Prime.
are they?
Yeah.
And a couple
I
of them are
watched
still on HBO.
I watched You Are All Disease just the other night, actually.
Yeah,
Or
that
fell asleep to it anyway.
Alex and I watched that one. And I asked him about it a week later. I was like, did you like that? He was like, it was so funny. And you make some of those jokes. I was like, yeah, some of them I forget that they came from Carlin because I've heard them so many times that they just are in my patter. And
Yeah.
some of them I heard so young. Like some of the stuff from Carlin at Carnegie when he's in that green sweater.
Back in Town.
And Back in Town was my first one.
That was the one that you introduced me to Carlin with, and that was
Because I stayed up late and taped
Oof.
it
Fuck.
the first time it was on live.
Talk about life changing.
That 92, I was watching the 92 HBO special where he's at Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's doing the whole thing where the poor people are just here to keep the middle class scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
That it resonates as strong today as it did 30 years ago.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's timeless.
Like, I mean, I feel like
yeah.
I was watching, Nicole was like halfway tuned into it too. I
Poor
go,
people are just there to scare
and
the
she's-
shit out of the
yeah,
middle class.
We're watching, I go, this is 30 years old.
Yep.
Feels like today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The times they aren't a changing.
no,
Nope.
nothing's changed. It's just
Nope.
a different, like,
Yeah.
the only thing that's changed is we have cell phones now and Twitter.
Yeah. Instead of being
rich-
uninformed, we're overinformed.
Right. And yeah, like, I don't need to see
I don't know, man.
billionaires
I fantasize
fighting for space conquests.
I fantasize about a world. I believe we talked about it in the chat, where Elon Musk spends $44 billion to buy Twitter to close it.
Yeah.
I
It'd
know,
be great, but
I
there's
know
just
that it
something else
would,
that would just
yeah,
take its
something
place.
else would just pop up in its place because people are people, and that sucks. But if he, I don't know, it's, I think it was you that sent the Joker gif the other day. It's not about the money; it's about sending the message.
Yeah.
That's just that simple thing. If Elon Musk bought Twitter, and the day that he finalized the sale, Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, was the last person to ever post on Twitter and just say, "I am hereby deleting Twitter because it's bad for the human condition." That would be some, like, I'm sorry if I offend people, that would be some, like, Jesus Christ level.
And money well spent.
That would do so much good. Nobody would listen to it.
That's a
and like
charitable
you said,
contribution.
that is one of the most charitable contributions that a person could make. It would do so much good for the world. Nobody would appreciate it. And like you said, something else would immediately pop up in its place. But Christ, the people who it did affect, the people who listened to that, it'd be profound.
I half think that Musk is the Antichrist.
It's very possible.
Like he strikes enough of the chords.
It's very possible.
And no one is saying it. Like, you know how with,
Well, you didn't
like
hear me
Obama-
disagree. I just kind of giggled along. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
I don't
probably.
want that to be true. Ha ha ha
You know how they were shouting it from the rooftops about Obama and
Yeah.
even Bush 2? Like, Bush 2 was too idiotic to be it. Nobody said it about Trump, and you just couldn't believe it about Trump because he just wasn't. But,
Yeah.
like, every time you turn around, Musk is doing something, and people are damn near worshiping him. You know, like he starts selling flamethrowers and oh God, look, he starts making electric fucking things and he starts shooting dicks into space and like you're just every time you turn around, everything he does makes a bunch of money and oh, he's doing this and oh, it's pissing off the elites and oh no, he's doing this and oh look at the libtards, they don't like him, but he's what is he? Oh,
I understand that he's the richest man in the world, so he garners that.
he's not.
Well, I mean, not okay. Maybe not
On the books,
specifically,
maybe,
but
but-
yeah, probably.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Anyway,
Did you hear him
I
talking
use
about
the
Putin
term.
the other
I
day?
use the term loosely, but
No.
talking about what?
Putin.
No.
He's like,
Oh,
he's
no.
Like, he's like, oh no, Putin's got way more money than I do. It was pretty funny. Like,
That is
there's
funny.
An hour-long.
That is funny.
I think it was on TED
Good for
Talks.
him.
I'll find the video and send it to the chat. It's pretty funny.
Not the richest person in the world, but for someone who is as rich as him, you expect that certain level of like singular focus in why do we know so much about what he's doing and what's going on? Well, because he's one of the richest people in the world. Of course, everybody wants to know what he's doing. But it would be almost off-putting to not know. Does that make sense? Am I saying that correctly? If he was just this,
If he was rich and quiet about it.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
What if we're all just his simulation? Like he says, we're a simulation.
eh.
I
find it
put that forward. And there's a lot of things that he says that it's like, it's weird that he would say that.
I find it uncomfortable how much, especially stuff like, there's a lot of stuff that you've seen over the last like year or so with Wall Street Bets subreddit and stuff. How the massive scope of people and how many things hang merely on his word.
Like that Dogecoin thing that he
Yeah.
He'll say
He just
something.
tweeted it?
Yeah, he'll say something, and the cavalcade of things that happen because of it is you. Who's the last person that we had in the world that had that kind of an effect?
Nobody I can think of. Jesus.
Off the top of your head, like to that. To be fair, it's not an entirely reasonable comparison to make because thanks to Twitter and the internet and everything, not everybody has had a voice to the entire world in the way that he does. But like Hitler was the very. I didn't want to make the comparison, but
it's
Hitler was
like
one of the first ones that I came
Beatles
to.
level
A couple
type
of
of-
Yeah.
those that full blown level of fanaticism.
Hitler, Sinatra, the Beatles, Elvis.
JFK, Elvis.
Ich bin ein Berliner. Oops, I'm a donut.
You don't see that level of and
That
what
was JFK, not Hitler.
fanaticism, shall we say? What do all those things have in common? To piggyback on your point about him being the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Every single one of those things that we just mentioned, from the Beatles to even the positive shit, they're all tied in some way to some really, really horrible tragedy that all is directly related to the overwhelming fanaticism about it. Whether it's something as dramatic as the Holocaust or something as small as a crazy person who shot John Lennon, every single thing that we just referenced in talking about that had some form of really, really sad, fucked up tragedy related to it for no other reason than the fanaticism and the amount of power that that person's voice and actions had.
Steve Jobs, another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He did.
He's probably close.
That's
He was a
good
talker,
one.
too.
Yeah, good one. That's a really good point.
because
Bill
like I
Gates
mean
to
he
a point.
basically, to a degree, Bill Gates, yeah.
Fauci for a little while there.
Fauci was a really circumstantial thing. Jobs was, or shall we say,
His definitely wasn't charisma.
Gates was like a Jobs light. He didn't have quite the level of publicness that Jobs had.
Well, and Jobs had a certain kind of charisma about his
Exactly.
delivery and the way he did it sold to people. Like he
was
could
a
sell
showman.
across.
Bill
he
Gates-
could
he was
sell
a-
across
yeah, he was
all
a-
genres
he
of
was a
people.
showman
Bill
and
Gates could sell to
salesman.
nerds.
Bill Gates always makes me think of the scene in the South Park movie where the military has fucking Windows 98, get Bill Gates in here. And Bill Gates comes in and he just immediately goes, well, yeah, it actually has 5 times the processing power and blah, blah. Like, that's Bill Gates. He's not the showman, salesman-y Steve Jobs
Right.
type.
Yeah, he looks
at
like
all.
he fucks kids
He's-
on an island somewhere.
He looks like he bags groceries at the store down the street from my house. Like, that's what I always thought. Like Bill
He
Gates
just
looked
he
like.
looks like he's quietly evil.
I always just thought he looked like some guy that should be bagging groceries and saying, "Man, it sure is a hot one today."
Sure is a hot one. Man. Sure. Is
Yeah,
a
but
hot
I mean, like Jobs cut short.
Yep.
What would happen if Musk died tomorrow? I mean,
Shudder to
the
think.
world would go
Shudder,
on,
Bad.
shudder to think. The
The
world
wor-
would go on,
Nothing bad would happen.
but it would be.
but it'd be
It wouldn't even affect my life.
12 months from
That's
now.
true.
12 months from now, it'd
we've
be a
moved
blip.
on. It's in
Oh,
someone
well,
else's
It'd be a
hands.
flash- it'd be a
I suppose
flash in the
that's not
pan.
True. I would have to listen to people
Yeah. That's a
For-
good point.
about a month. People would, oh, Elon Musk died. Oh,
And then
he
there'd
had
be
such an
then
effect
there'd,
on me.
then there'd
No, he
be a
didn't.
bunch
You
of
didn't even know
articles
him.
at the year anniversary of it. 1 year on from Elon Musk's tragic demise.
You got
This
a
is how the
carefully
world.
curated public version of Elon Musk. That's what you got.
Yeah.
That was what you got. Except that time that he smoked dope with Joe Rogan. Then you got an
That-
uncurated
even-
version of
even
him. You
that-
got about 3 hours of
even
him
that was-
high and talking about space.
And
But-
even that was
Probably.
you don't want to say rehearsed.
That was
It's
manufactured.
like borderline professional wrestling where it's like it's improv and it's off the cuff, but it's with a plan
Yeah.
and a direction.
Yeah, they knew what they were
It's
doing.
just a really, really good face promo is all it is.
It was a solid
Just
face promo.
smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show. Really solid face promo. I showed Tori speaking of wrestling, I showed Tori the video the other day of when Booker T dropped the N-word at Hogan. So I was like, oh yeah.
We coming for you, Hogan. We coming for you.
We watch, I got her into watching Dark Side of the Ring, and she watched WrestleMania with us this year when Matthew and I watched it and stuff. And I've gotten her a little bit interested in wrestling. And I don't remember what it was that made it pop into my head. But I was like, oh yeah, Tori, this totally happened, and I forgot to tell you about it because it's hilarious.
He is one of the most underrated, and I know, five-time, but he's so fucking good. And I guess he had a return match he's got his own promotion in Texas somewhere.
Really?
And he had a match not too long ago, like within the last 2 years, and he was on point.
I'd
And I
believe
was
it.
like,
I'd believe
fuck
it.
yeah, bro.
He's not.
You're
If
pushing
Chris,
60.
if Chris Jericho can still go at the level that he's going, I'd believe Booker T could put on a match.
Yeah.
It's not going to be what.
It's not going to be.
It's
like
not going to be
in
what.
his 30s,
It's not going to be
but-
what Chris Jericho's doing now, and it's not going to be what Booker T was back then. But I would believe he could still go.
Yeah.
He was. He did some of the pre-show, like discussion and commentary for WrestleMania, and he's in a suit and he's sitting at a desk and stuff, so you don't really get an idea of where he's at, because that's one of the things that has always really struck me. You see it with Triple H, and granted he had the heart condition and stuff, so that's a little bit understandable. But how quickly, as soon as they go from like officially being done as an active wrestler, how quickly they shrink. It's
Well, yeah.
dramatic.
When you get off
It's
steroids,
dramatic.
it's within a year that you deflate.
It's dramatic. It's scary and
But
sad.
I don't
but-
know how you would do. I haven't seen you on steroids. I haven't seen me on steroids. But like you buff up quick, but you shrink back down real quick too, I guess.
I don't know. Steroids was something I never understood.
Oh, I get it. Totally understand. I mean, look at all those Marvel dudes.
And
They talk about the diets and exercise they do, but it's steroids.
Oh, absolutely. There's not,
no way that you can-
there's not.
I don't care how many times you serve or how many
Eat
hamburgers
your
you eat.
vitamins, say your prayer.
Yeah.
Hulkamaniacs.
Hulkamania.
And you can lift tires like Chris Hemsworth while he trains to be Thor.
Yeah.
The Marvel diet.
You-
There's a diet,
You
and
know
there's
what proper
exercise,
training makes you
and
look
there's
like?
also
It makes you look like
injections.
Captain Kirk with his shirt off. That's what proper training makes you look like. That's what a real man looks like.
Well, to be fair, I don't know.
okay.
There's some people that are I don't know, genetic freaks exist
Yeah.
that you're just like, holy shit,
Yeah.
and they
you know what
they
look
don't
like on
take
steroids
steroids.
is fucking Scott Steiner.
Yeah. Ugh.
That dude on steroids is a monster. And it's okay. Like, I don't know why there was such a steroid scandal, because let him do it.
And that was it's funny you'd
With
say that
pro
because
wrestling.
it ties back to the I think it was Carlin that had a bit about that. Fuck, you're watching a game, whether it's wrestling or football or baseball or whatever. They want to juice up, and you want to have fucking 8 foot tall, 400-pound guys playing football. Yeah, fucking why not?
Yeah.
They're just playing football.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to sign up for it and be like, yeah, whatever, man, I'll juice myself up and turn into a fucking Frankenstein monster, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If they want to do it, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let them.
And
Is it fair to the guys who, if you don't want to get hit by an 8 foot, 400-pound guy, don't play football.
Go make your living
Just
somewhere else.
Go do something else.
Or take the chances.
Or, yeah.
Because
Because there are a lot of guys in the league now, not just in football, but in other sports, that do take that chance. They're
performance-enhancing
they're
drugs.
undersized, and they run the risk of like, yeah, I get that I'm a lot smaller than I should be to do this job.
Well, but then you're not putting yourself at risk for other things, like Triple H's heart condition.
Yeah,
I'd like to pretend that wasn't steroid related, but it is.
They say it was genetic, but I have a hard time believing that.
Nope.
Especially when you look at how, like, as people who watched his career from when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley to when he
him
came
as
back and was,
terrorizing
yeah,
in WCW
yeah,
when he was trying to be Ric Flair.
yeah,
He was big, but he
but
wasn't.
not like the game big,
Yeah,
like
like-
freakishly.
there was a difference in
Yeah.
how he looked, and
Yeah.
that wasn't fucking Weeder nutrition, folks.
Nope.
As much as he was trying to sell that
No.
shit, it
No.
wasn't protein shakes and creatine.
No.
Hey, Ron,
Yeah.
you want to tell everybody about how you got tased?
Oh yeah, we got to hear that
Before we get
story.
out of here.
Fuck. Oh fuck. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good closing
We
tale.
I don't know if I'm gonna get a little closer to the camera here. Or you can see the screen.
The knife wound.
Is it visible?
Your scar?
My scar.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Isn't that from your neck surgery?
That's from the neck surgery.
Okay.
Yes. For the people who aren't caught up on the show or listened to recent episodes, one of which was literally the day after I had neck surgery, and I was so goobered up on pain pills that I fell asleep a couple times during the show. Yeah, I had neck surgery on March 7th, and here a couple weeks ago, Tori and I decided that we were going to go to Spokane. We went and saw Kyle Kinane, and then 7 days later, we went and saw Chad Daniels. And on our way back from the Chad Daniels show, we were driving from Spokane to the Northern Quest Casino because that's where we were staying. Well, turn off of the interstate onto Highway 2 headed towards Northern Quest. I was going too fast behind this lady, or I don't know. She didn't like what I was doing, so she started brake checking me. And so I pulled over to the right lane and went around her, which you're not supposed to do, but you know you're supposed
But
to
it's
pass.
done
You're
all
supposed,
the
you're supposed to
fucking time.
you're supposed to pass on the left, but she was brake checking me. I bothered her, whatever. So as soon as I went past her, she immediately stopped going slow and like gunned it and got like right on my ass. Like can't see her headlights from my rear view, right up on my ass, right? Starts flashing her brights at me, tailgating me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Jesus fuck. So turned over again into the right-hand lane, let her go past me. And while she went past me, I had my Ward moment of like, I'm going to push your golf cart. And I flashed my brights a couple of times as I like, fuck you, bitch. You know?
I'm on board with all of it so far.
It was a really bad idea. Because as soon as I flashed my brights while she was flying past me, she slammed on her brakes to get right back behind me. And so anyway, so she does the tailgate me, get around me, flips me off while she's driving by me thing. If I'd have been aware of what was going to happen, I would have fucking called the police at that point because the bitch is driving crazy. But I didn't. We turn off. I'm driving behind her, and we turn off onto the road to go to Northern Quest. And she stays on Highway 2, where we've pretty much deduced the only way that she got where she got when she got there was that she had to have just flipped a U-ey right there on Highway 2. There's no other way, because in the time between us leaving the intersection there and me pulling into the parking lot for Northern Quest, she was behind me again.
Do you think that's why they call it flipping a bitch?
Possibly. If the foo shits. But yeah, so by the time we got to the Northern Quest parking lot, I looked in the rear view and told Tori, I was like, fuck, there is that Cadillac is behind us. They went through the intersection before us, but they're behind us now. And so she followed me to my parking spot and like pulled up behind me. So we rolled up our windows and locked the doors, and we're just like, ignore this crazy bitch, because holy cow. So she gets out of her car, she comes up to the side of my window, starts banging on my window, screaming at me about riding her ass, blah, 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 flipping me off. And I'm just sitting there. I don't even look up at her. I'm just like,
So describe like the physicality of this woman.
she seemed like your run-of-the-mill. She didn't look. If she hadn't have been behaving the way that she was, you wouldn't have been able to tell that she was a crackhead. Put it that way.
Crackhead.
She looked kind of like poor, ghetto-y. She looked like a somewhat put together, high functioning crackhead, like somebody that you'd see at the grocery store and be like,
I've got
okay,
it.
so
Yeah.
you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell that she's got a drug problem, but she's also not like somebody that's got fucking open sores and is like, meh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's.
But you can tell she's
functioning.
Plus she's acting
got her
fucking crazy.
She's got her food
So,
stamp card or whatever. But
she's acting fucking crazy, which helps.
Girls
But
all the time.
one of the ones who, while she's yelling at you through the window, does a lot of this thing.
okay,
Oh yeah, you fucking tailgate me, kind of
a
thing.
gangsta.
Yeah,
bitch.
one of those.
She's a redhead, yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
redhead.
Okay, that was
That was
that
your
was my
problem.
next question.
That was your problem.
But
'Cause redheads are
so
fucking dangerous.
she's doing all this, and Tori and I are sitting in the car, and I'm like, man, I can't believe this is happening. Just ignoring her.
Gingers don't have soul.
And she gets in her car and starts to drive away. And so as soon as she started to drive away, I looked at Tori and was like, get the fuck out of the car right now. Get to the hotel. Move. Now. Move. Well, wisely, for Tori's sake, and fortunately, Tori did not move because the girl did not drive out of the parking lot. She drove down to the other end of the parking lot and came around in front of me and parked in the parking spot in front of me with her car facing my car, right?
How did you not see that?
I watched it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I did see it happen. I
Okay.
watched it happen. Tori didn't get out of the car. I didn't get any further out of the car than opening the door and standing up with 1 foot on the ground. I had 1 foot in the car and 1 foot on the ground when she pulled up in front of me. And so she pulls up. She goes from being behind my car to driving around this way and being in front of my car, right? So I'm standing with the door in between me and what would be her. And she fucking parks, leaves the car running, jumps out of the car, and starts walking towards me. And I push the door open the rest of the way to kind of create a little bit more, space between me and her walking towards me.
How tall is she?
5.5 feet, 5'5" average.
Yeah, okay.
She was very average height and very average build. She was not thin. She was very average, curly red hair.
Dumpy?
No.
No.
Like lean body type, like again, average. She wasn't thin. She wasn't fat. She was just kind of there. She was redhead, but she didn't really have any freckles or like many freckles. But she gets out of her car, starts storming towards me. I push the door open a little bit further, and for whatever reason, I decided to say, "Really, lady, you're still fucking here?" And she responded by saying, "Yeah, I'm fucking here." And she like lunged forward at me over the door and tased me. And the reason I showed you where my scar was because she literally fucking got me with the taser directly in my neck on the spot where I had my surgery.
So this is one of those tasers that's got the
Looks
little
like a cell phone
right
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Little contactor.
Yeah. Fucking tases me. So I fell like into.
Did you do the shot, the tremble jolt? I've never been tased. I hope not to be.
Not
It's awful.
Yeah, it really is, man. It fucking sucks. Especially when it's bear in mind, this is 3 weeks after I had all these muscles cut open to do surgery on. So they're still healing when this happens. And
Trying to think. It's been like 8
I kind of
years.
like, I did the shake and fall, and I fell into the seat of the car. And Tori yells, "Did she just fucking tase you?" And I'm in the middle of pulling myself up out of the car, grabbing my phone out of my pocket to start calling 911. And I'm like, "Yeah, she fucking tased me. Holy shit." And so I pulled like I said, I pulled myself up out of the car, and I've got the phone out of my pocket already dialing 911 as I'm walking around the front of my car. Like I said, she's parked in front of my car, right? Mm-hmm. So I walk around the front of my car because she's retreated back to her car by now. She tased me and then noped the fuck out of there. And no plates.
As one does.
No plates, no tags, no nothing on the front of the car.
Sure.
And I'm like, motherfucker, really? So I start to run around to the side of her car to see
if there's plates on the back.
Plates on the back or anything like that. There's nothing on the back. And just in the time that I'm able to look at the dealer, she had just got the car. All she had was a piece of paper in the back window that said a date. That was it. No idea where she bought the car. No, fucking nothing. No identifiable shit whatsoever, except for that it was a temporary thing that expired on, if I remember right, it was April 22nd was when it expired. But I'm running around the side of her car to try and look at this shit, and the bitch guns it, backs up, and then floors it and tries to run me over. I had to jump up onto like part of the hood of my car to get out of the way of getting run down in the parking lot. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. It was fucking insane. I spent like the next probably hour talking to cops from 3 different jurisdictions.
Did you tell them about the citizen's arrest you
they did not
administered the year before?
No, I should have. Maybe they'd have taken me a little more seriously. Fuck.
You know, I've done your job before.
You know, I know how these things work.
I push it like a golf cart.
Matter of fact, I've actually performed your duties previously.
I've done this before.
No, and this is a whole nother. It's too late in the show to get into this.
Yeah, we got to get out of here.
But it's something that Tori and I have talked about, and I believe it's something you and I talked about when I talked to you about it previously. Was good luck being the average white male on the Indian reservation who gets attacked. You think they really give a fuck about listening to you or your problems or what happened to you?
Especially if it's a white girl that attacked you.
Right.
Like, that's
okay,
white
man.
people's stuff.
Okay.
Have a good
one.
Are you all right? I probably not. I got to call my doctor. Okay. Do you want our EMTs to look at you? Well, yeah, but I mean, there's not really a whole lot that they can do for me. Okay. Well, we didn't find her. The end. The end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's awesome. But we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I love that story. It's a good one to close out on.
Yeah, it was a thing that happened to me.
I'm sorry, man.
Never in my life did I expect to
take a taser.
Take a taser. Yeah. On a separate but related note, the Chad Daniels comedy show was fan-fucking-tastic. If you ever get a chance, if you're one of the few people listening, and you get a chance to either see him live or listen to him on Spotify or whatever, do it, because he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a great show, but that part sucked.
And he doesn't tase his audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what's really
That's not
funny,
part of the show.
what's really funny and, an eloquent way to close the episode is that I'll quote him.
Don't tase me, bro.
Part of the show, he was talking about Spokane and the fact that people live there. And he's like, people just die here regularly. And you all just choose to live here because for some reason crazy shit just happens here. And then less than 2 hours later, I was getting tased in the casino parking lot.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Oh,
good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right, everybody have a good one. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Good show. Later.